Knowing which legend to pick and not to pick is going to be a huge component of your strategy in set 9, and there's one that I already know is going to be an absolute troll pick, which is why I'm breaking down all 14 legends in this latest TFT tier list. So let's break down all the legends that are coming in set 9, how they work, and which ones are going to be the ones you should be picking. But in case you're not familiar with the new mechanic, basically you pick a legend before the game starts along with like your arena skin, and the legend you pick guarantees at least one augment that you're going to get throughout the course of the game. Each legend's augments are all similar, so the legend you pick can be a big boost if you're playing a certain type of comp. So the first legend that you can pick is Ornn. You'll get augments that grant you full completed items, component items, and even Ornn artifact items. And having that flexibility in a game is going to be very useful. It's not really going to pigeonhole you into a particular comp or playstyle. It's just going to give you some added power throughout the game, and none of the augment choices are particularly bad. I think this one is a great just versus all option. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Probably this is going to be my default if I'm not going for a particular comp. After that, we have Tahm Kench. Now, Tahm Kench's augments are all about gold. You get things like AFK and balanced budget. These are all augments that are going to give you the opportunity to get more gold over the course of the game and later into the game. These are augments that I think are a little bit greedier, and I think they're a bit riskier. They're really kind of playing into certain playstyles, particularly things like AFK, Large Forge. But if you manage to make them pay off, they can be incredibly good. So I am going to put this down in the C tier just because I think it's a little bit too restrictive in terms of the comps that you're going to be able to play. But like I said, if you're a really greedy player, this is the legend you're going to go for. The next little legend we have is Vigar, and this is one of the few little legends that I think is a bit more restrictive. This one is all about AP damage, giving you Jewel Lotus, Tiny Power, and Ascension, which are all going to help AP-based comps. If that's a comp that you're going to be planning on playing, this is going to be good for you. If not, it's a bit more restrictive. But that being said, I think it synergizes extremely well for those AP comps, which is why I'm going to put it in the B tier. It's good situationally, but when you are in that situation, it's going to be very strong. After Vigar comes Draven, and Draven's augments are a lot like Tahm Kench's, very gold and item dependent. I think that Draven's, though, are a little bit better than Tahm Kench's because you can also get the opportunity to get a bunch of rerolls, which are great if you need to hit on certain units later in the game. You can also get Spoils of War, which gives you drops throughout the course of the game, which is going to give you a very nice power curve as you can collect gold and items regularly throughout the course of the game. But it's better than Tahm Kench, but it's really not going to help out any particular comp that you're going for. I'm going to put it in the B tier along with Vigar. Tengu is the next legend that you can pick. And my big problem with Tengu is the 2-1 augments that you can get. Tiny Titans and Metabolic Accelerator are two augments that I never go for early game just because they force you to win streak, and if you do not hit RNGesus and hit a 2-star early, it's pretty rough for you. The item grab bags you can get on the other two carousels are pretty good, so I'm going to put this one down in the C tier, not D, but this one's an underwhelming pick I probably won't go for a lot. Urf is up next, and I absolutely love this legend. Toma traits plus grab bags, you've got all the opportunities in the world to flex out your comp that you're going to be playing, get you a lot of opportunities to get some additional items. I just love having this flexibility to play. This is what I'm probably going to go for almost every game. This one, to me, is an S tier pick. Some people might disagree, but if you're like me and you like to be able to flex around in your games, Urf is going to be the legend you want to go for. Aurelion Soul is all about XP. If you're somebody who likes to push 9 or even be able to push to 10, but that's just not my bag, baby. This basically eliminates the possibility that you can go for a hyper roll or a slow roll comp, which I don't like. I don't like the limitations on my flexibility of what comps I can go for. And just in general, none of these augments add any power to your comps with regards to just combat power or the ability to flex around your units, your items, your traits. And it's for that reason that Aurelion Soul is going to be the legend that I almost never pick. This one is going down in the D tier. For me, this is a trap pick. Do not go with Soul for your legend. Master Yi is next, and he is all about giving you combat stats, whether that's attack speed, damage or damage reduction, and mana regeneration. You really are getting a lot of combat boost from Master Yi. The big problem though is that at 4-2 you're getting just flat mana regen and movement speed on your units. To me, that's really not stacking up very well against the other legends and what they offer you at the 4-2, your last augment shop. And neither of the offerings in the other two shops are particularly good. For that reason, I'm going to put it down in the C tier. Not to say that this isn't going to be good, especially in certain comps, but to me this is a very low ceiling legend, and it also doesn't have a very high floor to justify using it. Ezreal actually has kind of the same issue as Master Yi. Those 4-2 offerings where you get bonus health just don't stack up to what else you could potentially get with a different legend. The difference between Ezreal and Yi is that Ezreal's 2-1 and 3-2 augment shops are much better in my opinion. You can get Buried Treasure or Big Grab Bag for some more items, which to me is going to elevate it over Master Yi, put it in the B tier. Lee Sin is also going the B tier. It was very close in my mind to going into the C tier because basically all Lee Sin is giving you is a bunch of gold and maybe some rerolls and champion duplicators. But in my mind, those 2-1 shops where you're going to be able to get a free reroll or a free 2-star if you're going for a win streak right off the bat. Now, Vladimir's 2-1 augments really suck in my opinion, but his 3-2 and especially his 4-2 are really, really good. Getting Battle Ready and Ascension that late in the game, to me, is very, very worth the risk that you might get it in 2-1 and not get as good of an augment. So for that reason, it's going in the B tier as well. This one, for late game comps, I think is going to be very good. Twisted Fate is giving you items, which is always good for me, but what really sets this apart and pushes it above the B tier is those 4-2 options where you can get multiple Zeke's Herald plus gold. Zeke's Herald is one of the most underrated items in Teamfight Tactics. It's one that you should almost always have in your arsenal if you can. It can fit into almost any comp because attack speed is so versatile. To me, this is an A tier legend. TF is a great option, especially if you're going to go for an attack speed based comp in your games. And no surprise, Bard is going in the A tier for the exact same reason. This one almost pushed the S tier because those 3-2 shops where you can get a Forge offering, getting those anvils is very, very good in that mid-game point. But those 2-1 shops are a little bit underwhelming compared to TF. I feel like TF's is just like more smooth power throughout. In Bard's case, if you're getting the 2-1 augment shop, it's a little underwhelming compared to others, but it's still a very good option. A tier for Bard. And last but not least, we have Caitlyn. Now, Caitlyn's 3-2 shops are again all about those XP, which is why I dropped Aurelion Soul down to that D tier. I really hate being restricted from being able to reroll or slow roll comps. But the big thing about Caitlyn that I do like is her 2-1 and 4-2 augment shops are very good. Getting those early powerful units can be either a godsend because you want a win streak, or you can just sell them off for a lot of gold early. And having rolling for days late, I think is actually going to be very good when you're trying to get those 4 and 5 costs that you need to roll a lot for, and you might not have a lot of gold to do so. So for that reason, Caitlyn is going into the B tier. I think that as long as you're not getting her 3-2 options, you're probably getting good value out of this one. But let me know if you're excited to play set 9 and what legend you're going to be going for. I will see you next time, Knuckleheads. Peace.